Okay, so we are now recording this session. If you don't want to be seen or heard, you can turn off your camera and your microphone. You can also choose to leave the session if you don't want to have your presence recorded. Even if you do leave your camera and your microphone off, your presence will be recorded. We are waiting for Khangser Rinpoche. He will be here shortly. And this is Introduction to Tantra. Oh, just some procedural things. If you're not talking, please keep your microphone off. Rinpoche is here. Thank you for joining us, Rinpoche. Tashadile.
Thank you, Tashadile, you all. Okay, so okay, so we will continue. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, Rinpoche.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so as the last time, we talked about the four different label of Tantra. The four different label of Tantra is the first label we call the action Tantra. In the Sanskrit term, it called as Kriya Tantra. So that is action Tantra. The first level of Tantra, it's called the action Tantra. Then it was second label, it's called the Charya Tantra. Charya means more like a character Tantra. And the third, it's called the Yoga Tantra. Yoga generally means a practice, okay, the Yoga Tantra. The fourth level, it's called the highest Yoga Tantra. So that means that they are the four labels of the four labels. So now the here that the what the difference and between all these four different tantras. The first of all that as I mentioned before, the tantra is normally the Tantra, it has a literally the Tantra means literally Tantra means more like a protecting the body and the protecting the mind and the body, the Tantra. So now thing is that what is the difference between the Tantra with the other practices, the Buddhism practice? In the Tantra, there are the four main points. It talks about the four main points, Tantra. Okay, the four main points. Yeah, so four main points of the Tantra is that the four main point is that the first thing is the Tantra, it talks about the, as you all know, the initiation. Initiation is a 1 point. So initiation is mainly initiation is something like a giving a empowerment to practice a deity. So other Buddhist practice, it will not talks about the deity yoga. Deity yoga means a practice of the deity. Practice of the deity. So in the generally Buddhism practice, they talks a lot about the transforming the inner transformation, like a transforming your own negative thought, changes of the way of the thinking, bringing the more positive thoughts. That is something general the Buddhist teaching emphasis very much on the transformation, more like an inner transformation. So from the Tantra, not only the inner mental transformation, also the physical transformation. Physical transformation, I don't mean like something the changes of your physical body, but the practice which includes like especially the deity yoga, you have to practice the transforming yourself physically into that deity. I will give the one example. When you are meditating in the Manjushri Buddha, so after you receive the initiation of the Manjushri Buddha, you just visualize that yourself as a Manjushri Buddha yourself. And when you receive the initiation of the Tara, so you have to visualize the yourself as a Tara. So that is the Tantra. The Tantra is that practicing or the meditating the yourself is physically transformed into the deity. General Buddhist teaching, when you talk about the bodhicitta, generating the great compassion toward all of the sentient beings, and the thinking of the more positive, or the believing on the result of the karma, these all practices are the more like an inner transformation, changing something from the inside. So more. But here now the Vajrayana also teaches how to practice the transformation of the physical transformation. So sometimes I used to tell the joke. One time I was giving Madison Buddha initiation. So Madison Buddha, this color is a blue, very blue, and having a, the Unisha means some on the Buddha used to have a, we in the Sanskrit we called it Unisha. It is just like a some swelling part. If you don't know the meanings, it looks like a little bit swelling on the center of the hat, like a swelling part, seems like that. So one time when I was giving the initiation of Madison Buddha, so I asked that student, will you really want to transform your physical body into the like a Madison Buddha, totally blue, and having a unisha on your heart, swelling like some part of the heart is swelling. So do you really want to transform like that? So I asked them. So many of them feel a little bit hesitate to answer to saying the yes. Some shook their head and shook their head. They want to receive the initiation, but not ready to transform the physical body into such a like that. So, but the thing is that the Vajrayana, the practice, it's a very important to have the base of the emptiness understanding. When you have a very proper understanding of the emptiness, so you will understand whatever your perception is not right, false. When you see something as a nice and the beauty, that only through your perception, no? So like an example, like when you look at the flower, like a rose and any other flower. So which is better, like a rose or the, I don't know the many other flower names. Can you just give me the one flower name?
Like a dandelion weed?
Sorry?
Like a dandelion weed. Something
Or like a
like
lotus flower.
Okay, whatever, yeah, dandelion wheat, or I don't know what that is flower, okay? But my point is that which is more beautiful, these two? It is totally depends on your perception. In the reality, among the flower, I don't think they have they don't have any beauty contest among the flower, no? This is only thing, it's more through our perception. So that is the perception. You see, some feels the rose is more beautiful. Some might feel the other flowers more beautiful. So my point is that, so that's why in the Vajrayana, when you're transforming your body, practicing into the Madison Buddha or like a Tara, that is the everything, like a blue colors of the Buddha or the totally, yeah, that is the more like your perception, no? It exists in your perception. So okay, now so that's why the first point in the Vajrayana, so it's an initiation. Now the initiation practice, it's just like initiating, means giving an empowerment to do the practice of the certain deity. And that always you normally say we have to keep the very secret, because the two reasons. One reason is that the not keep the secret. The one reason is that can be mislead the people into the very wrong practice. Number one. Number two is that when you don't get the proper instruction, maybe it may harm for the self and the other. It is something like that. Now the meditation, you go the meditation, people are interested to do the meditation. Sometimes in the meditation is if you don't know the right way of the meditation, it can harm for the self. Just look like a physical exercise. When the physical exercise, one small, sometimes when the wrong posture of the exercise, it can harm your body. So whatever even the exercise, you have to do it the very right posture in the right way. So that same thing like that when these are the initiation and the practice of the deity, because once we have to instruct the person at the very rightly. One the person, if we don't keep it secret, and sometimes that they may get a lot of the misinformations about the deity yoga or the practices, so that may harm themselves or the other. I have one very experience that one time, I'm not so sure whether you have heard that practice. In the Vajrayana, there is a practice called the consciousness transference practice. Consciousness transference practice. So when I was giving that teaching, and normally it for the 7 days in the Vajrayana, it comes from the highest Vajrayana tradition. And the student have to practice for 1 week. And every time we have to check the progress of the student after the meditating. So one time, because I don't know who came to the teaching, that the gathering is a quite, the large numbers. So then the one time, then on the third day, I was asking, did you experience like this and that? There is one nun. She said, yeah, she experienced this and that. I got a little suspicious with the whole the experience. Then later on that she came to my room, that a nun, okay, she came to my room and told that, sorry that actually I didn't attend your class and the practices. I just read the book and the practice and join the session of the discussion. Yeah. So now thing is like that. Now the many of the deity yoga practice or this is now it's a very open, it become a very open secret. So you can get it from the search engine, a lot of information. Sometimes these all information is not very, precise and not very correct. So that's why it keeps in the Vajrayana, the practices, it keeps have to keep the very secret. That is the number one. Now that is the one part, the initiation of the Vajrayana. Now the initiation comes into all the 4 labels. There is an initiation. Okay, the first thing is initiation. Then the second thing is importance of the Vajrayana. Okay, there are the 4 labels and the 4 importance. Okay, I'm just 4 importance of the Vajrayana. Okay, I spoke and talk about the 4 labels. No, 4 important is the first thing is receiving the initiation. Okay, receiving the initiation. Number 2 is keeping the precept in the initiation. That's a very important. Okay, precept is a Vajrayana. After the initiation, you have to keep the precept. Precept means the vows. There's a Vajrayana, certain rules that you have to follow very rightly. So, like a precept is like that. So especially the precept is a Vajrayana precept is it's a very important. Keep the harmonize with your master and your brothers and the sisters. Sorry that maybe I will just trying to translate very directly from Tibetan terms. It's called like a Vajrayana brother and the sisters. Okay, Vajrayana brother and the sisters. Okay, Vajrayana brother and the sister means who the Sangha, you are the practicing Vajrayana together. So that's we call the Vajrayana brother and the sister. It's a very important to keep the harmony among that the community, because it's a very important that when you're doing the whatever the practice, it is a very important to have the very peaceful and the harmony environment in the circle or in that the Sangha or in the group. then your practice can improve. When you look back the 2000 back at the time of the Buddha's his own cousin go against of the Buddha, and he create the division among the Sangha. When you create the division of the Sangha, that's several months, lots of the Sangha members could not meditate and practice well. They are very much mentally disturbed. So that's why it's saying that it's a very important to keep the Sangha among the Sangha. It's very important among the Sangha to keep the harmony. So that's why it said that it is the that is the one precept. Okay, I'm talking about the second important point. Okay, keep holding the precept. And generally there are the 14 downfalls or the four. Okay, so that maybe we'll talk later, but the keeping the precept. Okay, that is the second important point. Okay, now the third important point of Vajrayana, when you receive the initiation of the deity, whatever deity, then it's important to do the retreat. The retreat means a few different of the retreat. Okay, one we call the solitary retreat. Solitary retreat means that you can do it 5 days, 7 days, 3 days. It's a solitary retreat is a more like a you be alone and meditate on the deity, meditating. Then you're doing the retreat. Sometimes the retreat is a very important is that right now when you leave lifestyle, right now our lifestyle is you are not with you at all. You are with all the time others, mentally with the others, physically with the other, and physically you are with the society. So that's why sometimes you are not with you. When you are not with you, you are not understanding who you are, because you are always with the other. Sometimes mentally you are with the others, sometimes physically you are with the others. But the retreat, it is something that being with yourself. Be with yourself. So, and then introspect, look into yourself, how you think, how you react. It is something like examine the self. Right now, I'm very sure that everyone you knows very well about other. Just look, you know very well about maybe your partners, friends, children, or whatever I'm sure that whether you know very well or not, but you feel that you know them very well because you examine them too much. Maybe because you focus them about the too much. So now the retreat is something focusing more on the self, looking into self, and then to understanding the self, how you think, how you react. Yeah, so like that, no? So yeah, so that is the thing, okay? So that retreat is this is the one purpose of the retreat. One is that. Second is the retreat is something like a practicing with the practicing and it is something like that. When you look at the swimming, when you learn the swimming, first they will instruct the swimming. Then later on, what you have to do, have to try yourself in the pool. Like when you learn the bicycle, when you learn the cycling, first you will get the instruction. Then what you have to do? You have to do it yourself, no? You may fall down. Again, you have to write and you have to do it again and again. To learn the cycling, no? You have to do. Retreat it exactly same thing. You be with yourself, trying to practice yourself. When you face any difficulty, trying to solve by yourself. Then you can improve in the practice a really lot. Because many times when you practice, when you are not very sure what really you do, you will ask your master or you will go into Google and they're trying to do something, not trying to solve by yourself at all. So that's why if you look at the Buddha's life story, when he been through the many teachers and learn it, but finally that 6 years is a solitary retreat. He was solving the lot of the mental issues by himself. Then he succeeded. So this is the retreat is something like that. Be with yourself, and when you meditate, any difficulty come, try to find some solution to overcome that by yourself. Okay, that is the one other other I mean, the main purpose. My own experience, I had not a solitary retreat, but my own experience quite long back. I was in the one time in the Switzerland, and at that time Switzerland, a few days they told me I have no program, so I went to the one of the village site. It's a nearby place called Glarus. So in that 3 days, I was alone, no program. In these 3 days, I have such a tremendous, intense realization. And I had a very strong experience, especially when these 3 days I was meditating on emptiness with very alone myself. No? So that's why it may happen with you if you spend some 1 or 2 days alone yourself, no? When you think. Because normally what happens is that when the persons want to stay alone, they will feel the loneliness because they feel the loneliness because they think something others. When they are alone and the things look into yourself, introspect yourself, you won't feel loneliness. You will discover the more new things. That's the thing. So that's why, yeah. So that's why whenever people feel the loneliness, they need someone to talk. They need some place to go to overcome that loneliness. So it doesn't mean that when you stay alone, it does few days, it doesn't mean that you will feel loneliness. Okay. Okay. So that is the now the second main important point is uh sorry, and third, no, third is a retreat. Sorry, the retreat of the deity. In the Vajrayana practice, third one important. Okay. Then the fourth one is the with the after the deity retreat, then the action. Action means with the deity. Example that in the Buddhism, all the practice and the Buddhism, the main purpose of the medicine practice is to benefiting the other, benefiting the sentient beings. Now the Vajrayana also same thing is the fourth main important. After you do the deity retreat, then using these the deity retreat, using the power of the blessings of the deity to benefit the others. Like I will give the example, like when you pray for the sick people, normally how you pray for the sick people, that's the one thing. Okay, normally when you pray for the sick people, from Buddhist perspective, okay, Buddhist perspective, there are the few different ways. Okay, Buddhist perspective, common Buddhist practice, and from the Vajrayana or the Tantra way, okay, praying, okay. Common Buddhist practice, they may pray for the Buddha and they tell the Buddha or by the blessings of the Buddha, may that person get covered. I mean, may that person get healed and recovered from the sickness. That is the general, the way when the Buddhism way, how we pray, general way. Now the general way, that is the general way. That is the general way of the how we can pray, no? General way. Now another way. Okay, this is the one general way. Then now from the point of the Tantra, how we pray is that how we pray is from the Tantra point of view. From the Tantra, it is Tantra point of view. How we can pray is that now you visualize yourself as the deity, like a Manjushri Buddha, or the Tara, visualize yourself as the Manjushri Buddha, then radiate the light, maybe white light from your heart, radiate. Then you just visualize that the white light dissolve in the person whom you are praying, and that they get healed or the recover. Okay, that is more in the general Buddhist practice. We send the positive thoughts when you are praying for someone. From the Tantra practice, not only sending the positive thoughts, you are transferring your more positive energy to the person whom you are praying, more positive energy. Now here comes the question, will there be any difference person who are doing this kind of the praying or this kind of the healings to the others before and after the retreat? That's the question. So they're saying the Vajrayana, when you do the retreat of the like a Manjushri Buddha or the Tara or the Avalokiteshvara, any deity, after the retreat, you are the transferring the energy or you are the healing power will be much stronger. That's the fourth point. Fourth point is a more like I think the actions. What kind of the action? It's a something like that. More main important thing is action of the benefiting the other. Sorry, action. That's a fourth important point of the Vajrayana. Okay, I'll come back and I will summarize. Okay, I talk of 4 labels and the 4 importance. No, 4 importance. The first is initiation, receive the initiation. No, third is keeping the vow or precept. Sorry, the second. Third is a retreat. No, retreat, doing the retreat of the deity. Okay, retreat. And the fourth is action. The action is a more like a benefiting the action, benefitings of the other, action of the benefiting the others. Okay, these are the 4 important points. Comes into all the 4 labeled of the Vajrayana. These 4 points are very important. Okay, these 4 points are very important. Now I will go back on the third point about the retreat little bit. Okay, in the Vajrayana, the retreat have a few different kinds of the retreat. Okay, once I mentioned is a solitary retreat. It is just like the practicing with the deity and the reciting the mantra and the introspecting the self. That's we call the solitary retreat. Okay, in the solitary retreat, what you have to do is you have to spend some time with you. You have to stay alone, spending some time with yourself. In the solitary retreat, important is practicing the deity yoga, reciting the mantra, introspecting on the self, looking into the self, try to understand that who you are. These are the what you have to do the solitary retreat. Okay. And the one retreat is we call the sign retreat. Okay, sign, what I mean the sign, the signboard, the sign retreat. Okay, whether I'm not so sure that whether I'm translating very correctly, but the terms I'm trying to translate from the Tibetan terms. Okay, it's called a sign retreat. Sign retreat is a more like a not spending the time of the alone. Okay, this is a little bit more but higher level. Try to get some indications from the deity, Manjushri Buddha. Okay, this is more like you are now connecting the link with the Manjushri Buddha. Okay, like an example, when you look at the Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Tsongkhapa have getting a lot of the instruction from Manjushri Buddha directly. Instruction. This is the very risky point. Okay, why the risky point is saying, how you will know that whether you are really getting the instruction from maybe the Tara Buddha, or you might be just getting some instruction through your own imagination. Okay, that is the risk. But how you can differentiate that, maybe I'll cover up some other time. Okay, that is called the sign retreat. Sign retreat is more like a building the connection with the deity. That first you have to build from the mental connection, then physical connection. Physical connection means like seeing the deity, like communicating with the deity. Okay, Lama Tsongkhapa used to do a lot like that, physical connection with the Manjushri Buddha. So he is having a lot of the discussion when between the Lama Tsongkhapa and Manjushri Buddha. Okay. Now the question is that, okay, this is the very, 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 very tricky point. Okay, why I'm saying the tricky point is that one person thought that he built up the connection with the Tara. Okay, Tara Buddha. Okay, Tara comes to him or her. Okay, and the Tara, the goddess Tara. You all know the goddess Tara. Okay, goddess Tara. Because why I'm saying that is that it happens a lot of times. It happens. Some people, they used to tell that they can see the Buddhas. Even they say the Buddha tells him to do this and that. No. So now the huge thing is very important to understand that the differentiating whether you are having the right visualizations or the false visualizations. Sometimes when you see like a Buddha, it might be totally false, not a right visualization. So now the thing is that how we will know that whether it's a right visualization and a false visualization. That is the importance. Okay, that is important. That's so how you will know that, maybe I will cover up some other time. Okay, so now the third, that is the one retreat. Okay, sign retreat. Okay, sign retreat. Okay, sign retreat, solitary retreat, sign retreat. One is the number retreat. Number retreat is the very normally many people, the number retreat is you are just chanting the certain numbers of that mantras of that deity, like a Manjushri Buddha mantra, Om Arabazanati. That is the Manjushri Buddha mantra. So if you chant like 100,000, that is the number retreat. Number retreat means you are doing the retreat of that deity. Mainly you are focusing on the chanting the mantra. Because the chanting the mantra is like these old mantra have a very positive and the strong energy. When you chant it again and again and again, you are producing the more strong energy. Because as you know, the sound is energy. These mantra are the very positive energy. So when you're chanting this mantra again and again, you are producing the more strong energy. Okay, so this is the strong energy. So this is the number retreat. Okay, there are the three different kinds of the retreat. No, one is a solitary retreat, sign retreat, and the number retreat. Okay, now when the person saying that he's doing the retreat, you can ask what you are doing. Maybe most of the 90% of person, they do the retreat of the number retreat. Means they will just chant the mantra of that deity, certain numbers, maybe 100,000, 200,000, do that. Okay, I always say the best retreat, the solitary retreat. Just sleep 1 or 2 days just alone, introspect yourself, look into yourself, try to understand who yourself. Now then meditate the deity, meditate, visualizing the self as a deity, meditating. Then meditating, that is the solitary retreat. No? That is the better. Then it will change the whole of the mental structure. No, mental structure. Why I'm saying the mental structure is right now our mind mental structure is it is not that well structured. No, so when you have the right mental structure, then you can think more positive. You can see more positive things. You can feel more positive. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the 4 points. Okay. Now we will come back for the 4 levels of the Tantra. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the 4 labels of the Tantra? First Tantra, as I saw, the action Tantra. Now, when you look at the many deities comes from the first label. Like if you look at the Manjushri Buddha, mainly it comes from the first label of the Tantra. Okay, first label. That's called the action Tantra. Goddess Tara, it is the first label of the Tantra called the action Tantra. These 4 labels of Tantra is mainly, it was the differentiated meant the way of the practicing. When comes the first label of the Tantra, it's a very important to the offering. Offering water, flower, whatever, that's a very important. Not only the offering should be the very clean, very niche, and then very niche and the very clean offering is a very important for the action Tantra, the level of the action Tantra. When someone is practicing the action Tantra, when you do the retreat or based on the action Tantra, it's a very important to do the offerings and the paying the lots of attention toward the external things like offering and the cleanliness. That is a very important to pay action done. First level, okay? If you look at the highest yoga tantra, external things are not important. Whether you can offer the flower, whether you don't, you just offer something mentally. Visualize that you're offering the flower. Visualize that you're offering the water. So that is the So that is the things that important. Okay, so that is the action tantra. No, we are talking about what we are talking about right now, the action tantra. Then what we are action tantra, the importance. Okay, so external things are very important. Action tantra. Now the character tantra, the second label of the tantra. It's pay importance for the inner practice also important. External offering is all important. They keep the balance between the practice of the external offering practice and the inner meditation. They keep the balance. They says that both are the important equally. In the label one, external things are more important. Offering and the mudra. You know the mudra, no, hand mudra. Hand mudra is more like external things. So hand mudra means the hand posture, no? When they are the lots of the hand posture you have to do at the level of the first level, okay, in the Tantra. When you come to the highest level of the Tantra, the hand posture or the offering, these also are not that important. More important thing is that you are the meditation. So it's a more important. Just like as I mentioned before, like an offering, in the highest yoga tantra, they emphasize very much of the mental offering. Mental offering, that's something you just have to visualize and offer that. Okay, so mental offering. I have one fun and a very nice story. Okay, one time, once some student came to me, and that day, that's a quite long back that day, and they brought me some small cake, piece of cake, and they tell me. And that morning they told me that came, and they told me that before they come to meet me, they told me that they already mentally offer me the huge cake, but in the reality they gave one small cake. But they are very serious point. But really, I like that because really they practice that. No? So this is there is a many fun stories of the ancient stories. So ancient story, one of the master, he was asking all the teaching of the all this, I mean the mental offering in the initiation time. This is an ancient time, okay, ancient time. And one student came to the master because ancient time in the Tibet, normally the offering is more like a gold coin and a silver coin they used to give, no? So then the one student told the master ancient time that the master, you also visualize that I offer you the 100 gold coin. So this is so in the highest yoga tantra, it's saying that a mentally offering. The physically offering is another important. So now the first level of the tantra, it's saying the mentally offering, it's a good, not that good. So physical offering. Like if you offer the water, water should be there. If you offer the flower, flower should be there. So that's the difference, okay? The first level of the tantra. First level of tantra, okay? So, but the important thing is that they are not saying the amount, okay? Amounts is not important. Whether you offer the one piece of the flower, that's also very fine. But they should be some offering should be there from the first level of the tantra, okay? So now the highest yoga tantra, they more focus on the inner practice, okay? Inner meditation, okay? Now the third level of the tantra, it says the inner practice is more important than the external offering, but they should be external offering, but we have to pay more importance for the inner practice. So now the highest yoga tantra, they say, oh, we don't have to care of the external offering. More we pay more inside the meditation. External, the whatever you do, it is not that important. So that's why you can see that now you will look at highest yoga tantra practitioner. Sometimes when you see that these practitioners, sometimes they are not paid too much attention of the cleanness of the offering, and the ancient time they used to go to the cemetery and they meditate in the cemetery and that is something there. The cleanness is not importance when you reach the highest yoga tantra. So that's why I'm not so sure that have you heard that Yamantaka, the deity Yamantaka? I'm not so sure. This comes from the highest yoga tantra called the Yamantaka. It is the deity, is the purest form of the Manjushri Buddha. It's called the Yamantaka deity. If you look at the Yamantaka deity, the mandala, even in the Yamantaka deity, the mandala, you can see in the Yamantaka deity, the mandala, you can see that cemetery in the Yamantaka deity's mandala cemetery, because they are not very. It's a mandala means where the residence of the deity, we call the mandala. Even you can see the cemetery in there. Yeah, so cemetery, it's something very, that is something like you can see the contrast, the deity and the cemetery. Because here, from highest yoga tantra point of view, number one, as I mentioned before, it don't considers of the importance for the cleanliness. And the second thing is it very, very much important to the impermanent, because the climate is impermanent. We don't have to get too much attached to this what we are possessing in this life. Sooner or later, we are going to lose it. So not to get attached. Make a good use of it. Be kind, be happy, not to get attached. So that's why he showed so that is the one important message always impermanent on the highest yoga tantra. They try to give the very lot of the message permanent. So not to get attached. So one thing, sorry, maybe I will explain a little bit about the attachment and the love, because lots of people used to get confused with these two things, attachment and the love. Buddhism always says you should love others. You should love, not to get attached. Attach and the love is attachment and love different is that when you have a very strong attachment, sometimes you want to possess that thing. And when you get too attached to your dog or your cat, or you want to that possess, and your dog or your cat have to act exactly that how you want. That is more you got the attachment. Love is something like that, to see the happiness of that person, trying to be happy that when you see the others are more happy. So that's called the love. Okay, love is more like based on the more like a thinking the welfare of the other. Attachment is more like a base on the thinking the welfare of the self. Attachment is more focusing on the self happiness. Love is more focusing on the other's happiness. Okay, so that's the thing. When you love someone, and when you love someone, you will care more of their happiness. When you attach to someone, you will care more of your happiness. That's the differences. Okay, when you are caring more on your happiness, that means that comes more toward attachment. When you're caring the more others' happiness, that is a love. So okay, Buddhism says, from that Buddhism point, we say that love all the sentient beings, not to get attached. Okay, so that's why when you're not to get attached, what we have to do is that understand the impermanence. Impermanence is something that we will lose anyone whom we love, one sooner or later, but still we can think the benefiting them. Still we can think the happiness for them. Okay, so that's why the highest yoga tantra, you will see a lot of the deity having the blood, something like they are having the drinking like a blood, or the carrying the the eating of human flesh, or lot things, no? So these all the symbolizing the impermanent. It is real, showing us that the one day we will lose our own this physical body. Sooner or later we will lose this our physical body. Before losing it, make use it, very proper use of it. Before losing our physical body, make a good use of it. Good use of it, and make to the benefit the other, benefit the sentient beings. Okay, that's the thing. That is the one message you have to give. So sometimes when some people, when they see the highest yoga tantra, sometimes in the look at the Yamantaka carrying out the maybe multiple of the weapons, arrow, sword, and a lot of things in his hand. Some get confused and used to ask me that the Buddhism based on the compassion. But these deity looks are not very compassionate, very fierce, carrying the sword and the very fierce. Because these also symbolizing, okay? Symbolizing that. Furious for it is saying the way the deity, like a highest yoga tantra deity, like a Yamantaka, white, very furious appearance. It's saying that we should not we should not be compassionate towards our negative emotion. Okay, we should not compassionate toward our negative emotion. We should not love our negative emotion. Okay, when you start to love your negative emotion, when you love your anger, when you love your jealousy, when you love your ego, then there's no way to liberating the self from the suffering. Okay, so that passage is going to whom we should not compassionate, to our own negative emotion. So that's why there is a one ritual prayer in the in the highest yoga tantra. The ritual prayer is we call the dispelling the demons, no, dispelling the devil, dispel, no, you know, the dispel or the dispel. Am I using the right term? Dispel, no, when you, common term, when you dispel, isn't it? Common term, it's called when you have to kick out, no, kick out the devil, no, it's dispel, isn't it? No? Okay, dispel or remove, okay, whatever, okay, removing the devils, okay? So
Dispel
there's
is
one
correct.
ritual. Yeah, okay, dispel the demons ritual prayer. One of the great master, when you dispel that, then he have to throw the rice. Rice is a tool like a dispelling the devils, throwing the rice. So then at the ritual time, what he did, he was throwing the rice on himself, all the throwing the rice. The student got totally confused and the saying, the master, you are not the devil. Why you're throwing the rice on yourself, all the rice, when you are dispelling the devils? The master told, I found the demon and the devil in the inside me, inside my mind. They are reciting in my mind all my life. So I want to dispel that. That is a very true. Demons and devils also reciting in our mind, like a negative emotion, anger, ego, jealousy. These all the demons inside, devils inside. So that's why the purest form of the deity is showing that we should not be compassionate toward our negative emotion. That is the one of the main symbol of the purest deity. Then the second is impermanent. As Yamantaka, if you look, he is holding the one bowl of the blood. The blood is symbolizing two meanings. Okay, one is symbolizing the impermanence. One is symbolizing to overcome the attachment. We have to overcome the attachment. Okay, that is mean. Because sometimes sometimes we are not knowing that because of the attachment, then it generates the ego. Then it generates the anger because of the attachment. It is the one circle. So attachment, ignorance, and hatred. These three things are it is like very much interdependent. Okay, attachment, anger, and the ignorance, very interdependent. It's like a chicken and egg. When there is a chicken, there will be the egg. When there is an egg, then again the chicken will come. No, so just like that. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, today we'll stop here. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Then see you next time. Okay.
Thank
So
you,
next time,
Rinpoche.
if you have any question, then we'll discuss it next time. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Good to see all of you here. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah.